and it's an amalgamated group of different literature, the Book of the Watchers, the Book of the Giants, the Book of Parables, these kinds of things, that we all put into one book that we call First Enoch.
An ancient manuscript accurately described hidden prisons beneath the ocean floor long before modern science even understood the deepest parts of our seas. Imagine a place where frozen walls and pillars of fire guard secrets that humanity was never meant to see, sealed away before the flood, and left untouched for millennia. This isn't myth or allegory, but a detailed account from the Book of Enoch describing living beings confined in a submerged prison, still breathing beneath layers of stone and sediment. As science increasingly confirms the existence of dormant life deep beneath the ocean, the prison beneath the ocean. The Book of Enoch presents a startling vision, not of a symbolic prison, but of a real sealed chamber hidden beneath the ocean floor. This is not a vague spiritual metaphor, but a detailed description of a subterranean place where beings remain confined, breathing, despite being locked away for countless ages. The ancient text speaks of a great sea, not a river or lake, emphasizing an oceanic setting that was far beyond the understanding of ancient civilizations. Enoch describes the floor of this prison as made from dark, smooth, and cold stone, unlike any rock found on land. Modern science confirms that the ocean floor is primarily composed of basalt, a volcanic rock, something no ancient person could have known. This knowledge is remarkable, given that the deepest dives in antiquity barely scratched 100 feet, while ocean floors can be 2 miles deep on average, plunging to nearly 7 miles in the deepest trenches. The text also describes pillars of fire descending into this place, ancient imagery for hydrothermal vents that shoot superheated water from the seabed at nearly 750 degrees Fahrenheit. These vents, known today as black smokers, emit mineral-rich fluids that sustain unique ecosystems. Enoch's portrayal captures the phenomenon with eerie accuracy, referring to natural features no one had witnessed 2,000 years ago. Beyond the fiery pillars, Enoch speaks of something far stranger, a great house built from stones of hail and ice, surrounded by walls of fire and guarded by a door that could not be opened. This paradoxical combination of fire and ice paints a vivid picture of an impenetrable enclosure, designed to contain whatever lies within. The door's inscription is hauntingly clear. No simple human visitor can enter or leave. The angel Uriel whispers to Enoch that inside stand angels who defiled mankind, their spirits still roaming above even as their physical forms remain trapped. This prison is home not to any ordinary beings, but to entities whose influence still pervades the world, manipulating humanity from behind a fiery barrier. Unlike the temporary detention of other fallen watchers, this is a place of permanent confinement, an eternal sentence beyond time. The text reveals an eerie detail about the door. It has no handle on the outside and can only be opened from within. This implies that escape is impossible, whether by will or design, and that those inside possess no means to breach their prison. It is a structure meant to hold and guard, rather than to imprison temporarily. Enoch's account is both precise and matter-of-fact, as if recording a geological survey rather than composing an ancient allegory. This sober tone invites deep reflection. Was Enoch simply a visionary? Or was he reporting something experienced firsthand or revealed by a higher power? The gravity of the description leaves no room for casual dismissal. At this early stage, we must hold back the full revelation of what exactly lies beneath the ocean, who sealed it, and why. The story Enoch tells is layered and complex. The most compelling details and their implications unfold as we navigate the history of these manuscripts and the knowledge hidden within. From the depths of this mysterious prison, the story stretches back through centuries of suppression, secrecy, and unanswered questions, leading us to explore how these ancient texts survived and why they remain locked away today. Manuscript history and suppression. The Book of Enoch's ocean floor passages have a fraught and controversial history. For centuries, the text lay outside mainstream canonical scripture, banned and buried by church councils suspicious of its content. In 364 CE, leaders at the Council of Laodicea voted to exclude Enoch, fearing its dangerous geographical claims and theological implications. This exclusion put the manuscript into near oblivion for over 1,700 years. Despite its ban, the story could not be wholly erased. 11 copies of Enoch surfaced among the Dead Sea Scrolls discovered in 1947, preserved in caves near Qumran. Interestingly, more fragments of Enoch were found there than of some books included in the Bible, suggesting its relevance and popularity in certain ancient communities. These scrolls contained the same deep-sea prison descriptions, confirming their antiquity and textual consistency. The most complete surviving manuscripts come from Ethiopia, where the Ethiopian Orthodox Church preserved the text in Ge'ez. The manuscripts are housed in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum, Ethiopia, and have not left that building for over 4 centuries. Access to them has become heavily restricted, especially following political upheavals in the 70s, limiting independent scholarly examination. Attempts to study the manuscripts have often been thwarted. Scholars like Dr. James Vanderkam from the University of Notre Dame have applied for access multiple times since the 80s, but were repeatedly denied. The Ethiopian government classified these religious documents as national cultural property, effectively cloaking them in secrecy. This restriction adds to the mystique surrounding Enoch's more controversial passages. Western translations and scholarship have sometimes dismissed or sanitized the text's geographical and cosmological claims. Early editors, including Jerome and Augustine, considered the ocean floor prison descriptions as mythological or borrowed from pagan traditions, rather than factual accounts. Even prominent translators like R.H. Charles labeled these passages as confused or symbolic, glossing over specific details unique to Enoch's narrative. The delay in publishing the scroll's oceanic sections also contributed to skepticism. Discovered in the 50s, these fragments sat unpublished for decades, categorized lower in priority alongside angelology and cosmology texts deemed less immediately useful. When eventually released, the ocean prison was treated largely as poetic myth, not hard geography. Meanwhile, repeated discoveries have spotlighted Enoch's precision. Scottish explorer James Bruce brought Ge'ez manuscripts to Europe in the 18th century, prompting theological debate over passages describing a house of ice beneath the ocean. Scholars then struggled to reconcile these claims with known cosmology and geology, forcing many to dismiss them rather than confront their implications. This long history of suppression and contested legitimacy illustrates the discomfort ancient and modern authorities have felt toward Enoch's claims. By placing a sealed prison beneath the ocean, Enoch challenges earlier cosmologies that located hell or the abyss under the earth, beneath the land. His text effectively invites searching, a dangerous proposition for those who prefer to keep such mysteries locked away. Today, the manuscripts remain mostly inaccessible, fragmenting research and perpetuating the veil of secrecy. These limitations make it all the more crucial to examine the geological facts Enoch so accurately anticipated, which science is only now beginning to confirm. Geological accuracy in Enoch. What makes the Book of Enoch's ocean floor prison extraordinary is its detailed and surprising geological accuracy. Ancient descriptions of the dark stone floor align perfectly with basalt, the volcanic rock known to naturally form the oceanic crust. This is not guesswork or metaphor. It pinpoints a real, previously unknown geological material that covers the ocean bed. Enoch's mention of smooth and cold stone further matches characteristics of underwater basalt, which forms in large, solid sheets across the ocean floor. No ancient human had the means to dive to such depths or study these formations, placing this knowledge far outside the scope of contemporary experience. People in Enoch's time could safely explore only mere feet below the surface. The pillars of fire described in the text correspond distinctly to hydrothermal vents, thermal chimneys emitting scalding water, rich with minerals, rising from the Earth's crust beneath the ocean. These black smokers were only scientifically discovered in the late 20th century, yet Enoch's portrayal captures their relentless, fiery nature with exacting poetic language. Furthermore, Enoch's account of a chilling house of ice, with walls that fire cannot melt, suggests a natural balance of extreme heat and cold. Though seeming paradoxical, deep-sea vents emit superheated water into near-freezing ocean depths, creating mineral deposits and dramatic temperature gradients that could inspire such imageries. The idea of ice and fire coexisting in a massive subterranean structure may reflect this unique geophysical reality. The low, roaring sound Enoch associates with the prison's environment aligns with the persistent hum scientists record around hydrothermal vent fields, pressure-balanced, constant, and isolated from the surface world. This sensory detail deepens the impression of direct observation or revelation rather than myth. The text also notes the unusual door placement set into the ice wall opposite the vents, indicating architectural sophistication in a natural environment. The door's inability to be opened from outside, along with its function as a seal, may symbolize a geological or metaphysical barrier designed to contain something beyond human access. Such specificity challenges assumptions about ancient knowledge and interpretation of natural phenomena. Enoch neither offers allegories nor explanations. He records observable facts in precise language reminiscent of surveying or exploration documents. This factual tone raises questions about the source and intent of this knowledge. In light of these points, Enoch's description appears less a product of mythic imagination and more a sophisticated account of a real, extraordinary environment far beneath the ocean's surface. Modern geology and oceanography continue to affirm many of these features, lending credence to the ancient text's remarkable insight. From here, the story pulls us toward understanding who or what was confined within these icy, fiery walls, and why their captivity endures beyond time. The beings inside the prison. The Book of Enoch reveals that the prison beneath the ocean is not empty. It holds beings whose nature and fate differ markedly from others mentioned in biblical tradition. These are the angels who mingled with human women, producing offspring that corrupted the earth. Unlike the Watchers confined beneath the Judean desert, these beings receive a far harsher sentence. They are sealed indefinitely, removed entirely from the world's unfolding history. Their spirits remain active even while their bodies rest behind the icy walls. The text states that these spirits take many forms, continuing to influence and mislead humanity from a distance. They cause men to perform sacrifices to demons as though they were gods, perpetuating their defilement of the surface world despite physical imprisonment below. This dual existence blurs the boundaries between physical containment and spiritual influence. This distinction is crucial because it implies that sealing these beings was not about total destruction, but rather containment. The flood wiped out many forms of life on Earth, but these entities survived, locked away with a specific purpose. This suggests a recognition of their extraordinary nature, something that could not simply be undone or annihilated without repercussions. The punishment is described as "for ages upon ages," a phrase emphasizing permanence rather than temporary imprisonment. This is not a holding cell awaiting trial. It is a final, irreversible measure. The beings beneath the ocean are set apart from those awaiting judgment, highlighting the gravity and uniqueness of their confinement. Interestingly, the architecture of the prison corresponds with this profound severity. Made of translucent ice formed under immense pressure and encircled by walls of unyielding fire, it speaks to a supernatural or highly engineered structure. The fire does not melt the ice, illustrating a balance of opposites designed to maintain an impenetrable barrier. The sound around the prison is likened to a low, constant roar, like something enclosed under pressure. This sensory detail adds to the vividness and tangibility of Enoch's account. The door's position on the ice wall facing away from the vents further conveys a well-thought-out design meant to contain, rather than invite, intrusion. Equally mystifying is the door's one-way mechanism. With no handle on the outside, it cannot be opened by those outside the prison. This suggests the intent was to prevent escape above all else. Whether this implies supernatural enforcement or advanced technology is left unstated, but the implication is clear. The prison is guarded and secure beyond human reach. Enoch's tone here reflects factual reporting rather than interpretation. He simply records what he has shown, the beings, the prison, their condition, without offering explanations or reasoning. This style invites the reader to wrestle with the reality of the narrative rather than dismiss it as myth or allegory. The presence and nature of these imprisoned beings deepen the mystery of why such a formidable prison exists and why God chose containment over destruction. Understanding the forces that created and now guard this place leads us to the divine seal and the solemn oath that binds the prison together. The divine command that holds these beings captive is no ordinary restriction. It is the epicenter of sacred authority binding fate and space alike. The divine seal and oath. At the heart of the ocean floor prison's permanence lies an ancient and solemn oath, recorded in the Book of Enoch as the Oath Bika. This oath predates creation itself, sworn before the ocean existed and before the earth's foundation was laid. It represents a divine decree that the prison must be sealed indefinitely, marking this confinement not as a reactive punishment, but as a premeditated, integral part of cosmic design. The figure overseeing this oath is Kesbiel, the angel who revealed the secret and enforceable covenant to Michael, one of the chief archangels. Kesbiel serves as the warden of this prison, entrusted with maintaining the divine law that keeps the door locked. His role is pivotal, embodying the intersection between divine will and earthly restraint. This covenant, the text stresses, is unbreakable. The oath binds the prison so tightly that no external force, human or otherwise, may open the door. The timing for release is reserved only until the final judgment, when divine justice will determine the ultimate fate of all beings. Until then, the seal remains intact and the prison remains secure. The deliberate planning behind the prison's creation sets it apart from makeshift containment. It was not constructed hastily in response to a crisis, but forged as a permanent measure within God's plan. This distinction matters because it reframes imprisonment as a fundamental piece of order, necessary for the greater balance of the cosmos. The Book of Enoch draws a sharp contrast between these eternally sealed beings and the watchers detained temporarily beneath the Judean desert. While the latter await trial and sentencing, the former are held eternally, exiled beyond the surface world. This dual incarceration system reveals layers of divine justice operating at different levels and severity. The wording in the original Ge'ez text, often omitted or diluted in Western translations, emphasizes the eternal nature of the punishment. For ages upon ages. This phrase signals an unending duration, underscoring how irrevocable and severe the divine sentence is for those confined beneath the ocean. God's instruction in chapter 10 to destroy all the souls of lust and the children of the watchers applied to those on the surface. Yet a different, more complex judgment awaited these beings. Instead of destruction, they were sealed away, an act implying that their essence or nature could not simply be erased. It was containment rather than elimination. The contrast between destruction and containment raises profound theological and metaphysical questions. Why preserve life or spirit rather than destroy it completely? Why build such an elaborate prison to hold these specific beings? The answers hint at forces and realities beyond straightforward human understanding. Kesbiel's stewardship and the eternal oath combine divine authority with cosmic enforcement. Together, they embody a transcendent law that governs what may be contained and when, ensuring that the prison's seal remains unbroken until the destined moment. This divine sanction assures that the prison is more than a physical location. It is a sacred, unassailable covenant binding time, space, and spirit in one indissoluble unity. Thus, the silence surrounding the sealed chamber is not emptiness, but obedience to an order older than the world itself. Every passing age confirms the endurance of the oath, while the appointed hour remains concealed. Until divine authority commands otherwise, the prisoners remain beyond reach, guarded not merely by ocean and stone, but by a promise creation cannot overturn. With this understanding, our gaze can turn to the remarkable scientific discoveries that echo these ancient descriptions, as modern oceanography uncovers life sealed beneath the waves. Scientific findings beneath the oceans. Modern science has uncovered startling evidence that remarkably aligns with the ancient description found in the Book of Enoch. In 2020, researchers from the Japan Agency for Marine Earth Science and Technology drilled sediment cores from the South Pacific Gyre, considered the most lifeless part of Earth's deepest ocean. Within rock layers more than 100 million years old, buried beneath over 200 feet of sediment, they discovered metabolically active microbial cells still breathing at an astonishingly slow pace. These microbes consume oxygen so gradually that a single breath, by scientific measurement, can take as long as 10,000 years. The lead scientist, Dr. Yuki Morono, described these organisms as existing in a state defying conventional classification. Not exactly alive in the familiar sense, nor dead, but lingering in a kind of suspended animation. It is a form of life that has persisted over eons beneath layers of rock and sediment, sealed away from the surface world. This discovery resonates with Enoch's use of the phrase translated as the reservoir of breath, a concept referring to life that is preserved but inactive, able to breathe, yet in a state of waiting. This same phrase appears when describing the breath of souls awaiting resurrection, drawing an uncanny parallel between ancient scripture and scientific observation. The implications extend further. In 2022, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution conducted a follow-up study of the North Pacific Ocean sediments, uncovering the same evidence. Living cells, dormant yet metabolizing, isolated from surface life for geological timeframes. They found genetic markers unlike anything seen in known surface biospheres, suggesting a previously unknown branch of life, sealed and isolated beneath the ocean floor. This echoes Enoch's assertion that what lies beneath the ocean floor is not like what is up here. It suggests an ancient awareness of a hidden biosphere, isolated and distinct from terrestrial life forms. The connection between Enoch's descriptions and these modern findings is striking and challenges the idea that such texts are merely myth or allegory. What scientists have mapped beneath the waves is a secret world of life in slow motion, sealed beneath layers of sediment and stone, much like the prison Enoch describes. These findings reveal that beneath Earth's deepest oceans, life clings on in a suspended state, hidden from direct human observation, but alive in a meaningful sense. The presence of such a biosphere invites us to reconsider ancient texts as repositories of knowledge rather than solely spiritual literature. Enoch's narrative, once dismissed or ignored, now commands fresh attention, posing profound questions about the intersection of faith, history, and science. This convergence prompts us to reconsider the ocean not just as a physical frontier, but as a boundary between worlds, inhabited by life that transcends normal definitions, a boundary that holds its own mysteries, secrets, and perhaps divine judgments. Yet each discovery may represent only the outermost layer of a far greater reality concealed beneath the sediment. The deeper science reaches, the more ancient descriptions seem to gain unexpected weight. Until these hidden ecosystems are completely understood, the ocean floor will remain a silent archive, preserving forms of life, knowledge, and mystery beyond the boundaries of ordinary human understanding. As these discoveries echo the scripture, the ocean's role as a sealed boundary gains renewed significance, pointing us toward the reasons why this watery abyss was chosen as the prison's location. The ocean as a boundary. The Book of Enoch's choice to place this prison beneath the ocean is profoundly significant and strikingly counterintuitive to ancient and medieval cosmology. Traditionally, the abyss, or place of confinement, was imagined beneath the earth, beneath the land, a location safely removed from the sea. Enoch's narrative boldly relocates this sealed domain beneath the ocean floor, an aquatic frontier both physically remote and symbolically potent. By situating the prison beneath the Great Sea, the text challenges contemporary religious and cultural views, effectively daring readers to imagine a physical place accessible in principle, if not in practice. This oceanic location is not arbitrary. It is a liminal zone where forces of creation, destruction, and containment converge. The ocean's depth, darkness, and inaccessibility make it the perfect boundary for confinement. Hidden from human eyes, yet vast enough to contain whatever is sealed. This setting symbolizes separation, isolation, and the unknown, reinforcing the prison's permanence and invulnerability. Unlike terrestrial prisons or even desert captivity, The ocean's pressure and conditions create a natural barrier no mortal could traverse. The house built of ice, surrounded by fire, placed here among hydrothermal vents, uses natural extremes to maintain control. This environment fuses the elements of water, fire, and ice into a supernatural seal. The ocean as a boundary also emphasizes how far removed these beings are from the surface world. While their spirits might influence humanity, their bodies reside in a place utterly alien, encapsulated by nature's most extreme conditions. This adds layers to their punishment, isolating their influence but not silencing it, creating a haunting tension between presence and absence. Historically, the Church's discomfort with this geographical claim is evident. Early church leaders rejected Enoch partly because locating such a prison beneath the ocean contradicted accepted cosmology, which placed the abyss beneath the land. By suggesting a testable physical site beneath the sea, Enoch challenged theological and scientific orthodoxy. The oceanic prison concept posed a real threat. It could be sought, mapped, or scrutinized. This possibility made the passage dangerous to established beliefs and contributed to its suppression and exclusion from canonical scripture. The tension between doctrine and discovery continues to ripple through theological debates. From a symbolic perspective, water often represents chaos and the unknown. Placing the prison beneath the chaotic depths suggests a cosmic struggle to contain that which threatens order. The ocean boundary becomes a metaphor for divine control over chaos and evil. Ultimately, the ocean's role as a boundary blurs the lines between physical geography and metaphysical realities. It embodies both final separation and potential revelation, a sealed gate waiting for the appointed moment when the door is to be opened and the concealed contents revealed. With this vision of boundary and barrier established, we now turn toward the contemporary mysteries that surround these ancient claims. For if the ocean truly serves as both prison and threshold, then its silence may be temporary rather than absolute. Every unexplored trench, buried formation, and unexplained signal draws humanity closer to the concealed frontier described by Enoch. Until that boundary is crossed, the deep remains more than empty darkness. It stands as a guardian of truths not yet meant to surface. The restricted manuscripts, unexplained oceanic phenomena, and the ongoing secrecy enveloping what lies beneath. Modern implications and mysteries. The story of the ocean floor prison described in the Book of Enoch does not end with ancient scripture or modern scientific discovery. Instead, it continues to unfold amid ongoing restrictions and unexplained phenomena surrounding the relevant manuscripts and oceanic surveys. Since the Ethiopian Revolution in 1974, access to the complete Ge'ez manuscripts in Aksum has been heavily restricted, limiting direct scholarship on some of the most revealing passages. At least 3 critical sections remain unavailable to researchers, adding layers of secrecy that fuel further curiosity. Scientific exploration has also encountered mysteries. In 2019, a Norwegian research vessel named Kronprins Haakon conducted deep-sea acoustic surveys around 800 miles west of Namibia in the South Atlantic. The instruments detected unusual acoustic signals at approximately 4 miles depth, which did not match any known geological or biological sources. The lead researcher's preliminary report was classified and withheld from public release, while 2 Freedom of Information requests were denied. These unexplained signals add a contemporary echo to the ancient locked door. The combination of restricted access, unexplained data, and ancient texts describing a sealed, living prison beneath the ocean floor raises profound questions. Why has this information been concealed from the broader academic and public community? What might lie behind the sealed door that demands such secrecy? The parallels between Enoch's description and modern findings suggest that something significant is being hidden or guarded. Despite these mysteries, it is crucial to clarify that the Book of Enoch is not a literal underwater exploration manual nor evidence of supernatural beings as popularly imagined. Rather, it stands as a meticulously recorded ancient text describing an environment and conditions only confirmed by modern oceanography centuries later. This challenges assumptions about ancient knowledge and invites a reconsideration of the boundaries between myth, scripture, and scientific reality. Moreover, the habitation of living organisms metabolizing beneath layers of sediment in the ocean's depths, presents a form of life outside normal categories, not dead, not alive in familiar terms. This liminal biological state, described by scientists, is mirrored in Enoch's depiction of breath or reservoir of breath within the sealed prison. Such alignment between science and scripture is very rare and undeniably intriguing. The enduring suppression of these manuscripts and related discoveries underscores how potent and unsettling these revelations are for existing religious, scientific, and cultural frameworks. The fact that powerful institutions have repeatedly limited access and issuance of this knowledge suggests its impact stretches far beyond academic interest, possibly touching on deep theological and geopolitical currents. For decades, scholars have debated the origin, meaning, and purpose of the ocean prison passages, often hindered by incomplete access to key texts. The locked manuscripts at Aksum and the fragment 4Q206 at Jerusalem remain as silent witnesses to this unresolved mystery. Meanwhile, the cutting-edge oceanographic data hints at something still concealed beneath the waves, waiting to be fully understood. The idea of a sealed prison beneath the ocean floor challenges our perceptions of history, cosmology, and life itself. It forces us to ask what else lies hidden in the depths, both physical and spiritual, and what the future holds for these ancient secrets as science and faith continue their dialogue. Ultimately, the prison's door remains closed, the seal unbroken, and whatever is inside continues to breathe. The ancient testimony and modern inquiry together point us toward a shadowed frontier where mystery endures and revelation beckons. The Book of Enoch's descriptions of a living prison beneath the ocean floor challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient knowledge and modern science. Sealed away for millennia and still breathing beneath the waves, this mystery persists between scripture and discovery. If this exploration into forbidden history intrigued you, please like and subscribe for more uncovering of hidden stories waiting to be told.